All right, let's talk about leadership in change. And I think the number one story in the headlines right now about leadership and change has got to be Elon Musk and DOGE. The whole concept of the Department of Government Efficiency, for those of you, who don't know what we're talking about, it was in the headlines big time, and now here we are. It's still early as we sit here today, but we got a very eccentric billionaire coming in going, the government needs to be more efficient. And so I'm bringing up change because certain leaders tend to be more open to change. Like they dig it. They thrive off of it.
Right.
And a lot of leaders seem not to be too excited about it. So
I think it's the fear and love
It's
thing
fear.
again.
So let's go to this. I think we can learn from this. And I can't wait for your observation. You got Elon Musk, the entrepreneur's entrepreneur. Does whatever he wants, whenever he wants. He's going to Washington, D.C., and he's attempting to change the bureaucracy.
Right.
What would he need to do to be successful, to fight that?
He cannot try to be popular. The first book I ever wrote was called The 5 Temptations of a CEO. Yes. And the desire to be popular among the people you lead is a real dangerous thing. Because then what you'll do is you'll just do the things that people are going to reward you for. And in Washington...
That's the currency.
Right. And so he has to go in there and know he's going to displease a lot of people. That doesn't mean you go in there and go, I'm just going to make people mad on purpose. He is going to make a lot of people mad, and he has to be prepared to do that. I can't believe that this guy who is doing all these different things wanted to do this.
Yeah.
And I am so thankful to God that he does. And here's the deal. Love them enough to say this is going to be hard for you, but it ultimately will be in your best interest.
That's right.
But if you're the kind of politician who just wants votes or wants approval, and I've done this in my career. I've let people get off because I wanted to be nice, and I didn't serve them. And so I think what Elon Musk is doing is really virtuous, and he's going to have to be courageous in doing this. Now, I hope, and I am volunteering my services to them. They don't know that, but
right.
What I do is I help organizations understand where there's dysfunction. Because if you can go into an organization and see where the dysfunction is, it's a lot easier to weed out the problems without, throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
Now, there's a ton of bathwater.
Oh, yeah.
But there's babies in many of these departments. Some of the departments should just go away. But some of them would do good things, but they've just gotten out of control. So I'm hoping at some point we can help them look at these things from an organizational health standpoint so they know where to cut without hurting the core.
If you're going in and Elon calls you up today and he goes, all right, Pat, pick an agency. Let's take the national education. Let's go education, okay?
Yeah.
You don't know much about it. You walk in day one, knowing the way you operate, your strengths and all of your experience.
I love this question.
Great. What is your mindset that morning, the night before, in the car? You got all this experience. This is not a new thing yet. A very different world. How are you approaching that?
Don't start by going, what are we going to get rid of? Start by saying, what matters? In other words, because if you play defense and you're pulling it one hair at a time off, it's going to take you forever. Actually go in and say, what's the 10%, the 15% that matters most? And then build from there. And then you're going to get to 30% of this matters. The other 70% doesn't. So start with that. Find what's good. Don't just look for the bad.